Obtaining a diagnosis like autism or ADHD isn't always a clear-cut decision. Maybe we want others to understand our child as a whole, beyond a label, or perhaps we've raised concerns, but without clear evidence, no one seems to take us seriously, leaving you wondering, should I pursue a diagnosis for my child? Should I wait or not pursue a diagnosis at all? Whether you're leaning in, holding back, or somewhere in between, this video is for you. So in this video, I'll break down 4 reasons why seeking a diagnosis may feel like the holy grail of answers, and I'll explore how this sense of urgency can shape the way we navigate the special educational needs process. And by the end of this video, you'll have more insight to make more informed, grounded decisions, empowering you to advocate for your child's needs and ensure that their unique needs are truly recognised. My name is Brenda and I'm a parent mentor and a fellow parent. I support parents raising children with individual needs and differences to stay empowered whilst they navigate through procedural challenges. And when advocating for my child, I remember how the pursuit of a diagnosis felt very urgent and critical, and how that urgency shapes many of us during the special educational needs process, especially when we're trying to access the right tools and strategies in the classroom. But what actually became clear was that getting a diagnosis actually felt essential to getting the right support. You want to see your child as a whole, not just through the lens of a condition, but when they're struggling in school and the pressure builds, you want answers and you want them now. And that's where the dilemma begins. And what I learned along the way is that getting a diagnosis isn't always an easy decision. And here are 4 reasons why it's not always straightforward. And the first one is, a diagnosis can limit school options. In those early stages of helping others to get to know your child as an individual and allowing them to settle into a new environment, explore different activities and engaging with various subjects, concerns may arise about their ability to perhaps stay focused in the classroom, absorb information at the same pace as their peers, or communicate as others do. And these challenges can quickly lead to assumptions as to whether their needs can be met in a mainstream school. And whilst having a diagnosis is meant to open doors, it can sometimes do the opposite, especially in schools that have limited resources. And it can leave us wondering whether a diagnosis might close more doors than open it. And in that uncertainty, it's easy to feel disempowered and unsure as to whether our children will ever feel happy and understood. The second reason why obtaining a diagnosis can be challenging is that the process doesn't wait for a label. The process is long, it's stressful and full of delays. It may be that a child simply needs timely access to the support necessary to engage in their education. Perhaps as a parent, you've raised concerns for weeks or even months before seeking any formal support, and now it seems that the only thing that could drive progress is obtaining a long-awaited diagnosis. But with long delays, it can feel like an almost impossible goal, because whilst you're waiting for answers, your child is waiting for help. As accessing a diagnosis through the healthcare system or other pathways can take months or even years, it leaves us in a state of limbo. And these delays often result in unmet needs during critical developmental stages and leaving us wondering whether a diagnosis is the only way to guarantee SEN support. Another dilemma is that a child's behaviour may be misread without a diagnosis. But at the same time, labels aren't always the answer. Without a diagnosis, a child's behaviour can be misunderstood. They might be labelled as different or disruptive rather than recognised as needing support, and this can lead to possible exclusions and a child being out of education for long periods of time. But even with a diagnosis, there's no guarantee that support will follow, and I've learnt that advocacy doesn't stop before, during or after a diagnosis, as it's ongoing. And that's why it's so important to recognise that a diagnosis is only one piece of the puzzle and not the whole picture. Another dilemma is that it can create an emotional tug of war for us as parents, as it's completely natural for us as parents to worry about the long-term implications, the stigma, the low expectations, or the judgments that may follow. Thoughts like, am I helping my child or am I labelling them for life? These are important concerns, and wouldn't it be nice if we had the time to truly explore them? But when there's an urgent need for support, such as ensuring that our child remains at school, the reality is that both our children and us are often forced to adhere to certain expectations. And this creates the belief that each developmental milestone must follow a specific path. These 4 reasons highlight the nuanced nature of this issue and highlights how it's not just black and white, as they don't offer definitive answers, as the decision for you as a parent to seek a diagnosis is truly yours alone. However, these reasons can help you make a more informed choice by understanding how the process differs for a child with or without a diagnosis, as these reasons shed light on the impact of delays on others' perceptions and how these factors affect the sense of control in supporting our children. And by recognising these dynamics, we can approach the decisions with more confidence and clarity, as by acknowledging the emotional layer, it also creates space for self-compassion, which is essential for making those thoughtful, grounded decisions. So if you've liked this video, why not take a look at this other video that explores the pros and cons of navigating the SEN process with a diagnosis? Or alternatively, why not take a look at this playlist here? But for now, keep doing what you're doing. Stay focused, stay empowered, and keep creating progress. Thank you for listening.